Alexa, open WikiHow.
Okay, here's WikiHow. Hi, ask me how to do anything.
How to care for a pet rat.
How to care for a pet rat. To properly care for a pet rat, choose a large cage with solid flooring, levels, powder-coated bars, and ramps. For every rat, there should be a minimum of 2 square feet of cage space, but 2.5 square feet or more is preferable. Rats are social, so it's best to have at least 2 rats together. Set up an area for your rats to eat and drink, give them a nesting area to sleep, and line the cage with a soft, absorbent material like wood shavings or cellulose bedding. If you would like each step read out in detail, say read steps.
Read steps.
Step 1. Consider the commitment. Rats live for around 2 to 3 years or more, so look ahead and be sure you can care for the pet over this length of time. Think about the time and commitment it takes to look after another living animal. This means keeping the cage clean, regular feeding and handling, and if the pet gets sick, taking him to the vet. Remember that you'll need to find someone to care for your rats when you go on vacation or out of town. Many rat owners can testify that it's really hard to find someone comfortable enough to care for and handle rats. A lot of people can be squeamish, so try, if you can, to line up at least 3 or 4 potential candidates who are willing to watch your rats if you need to leave town. Pet stores sometimes offer to take care of pets. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 2. Think about your other animals. If you already own other pets, especially cats, then think about whether or not the pets you already care for will be able to live harmoniously with rats. Research about how to introduce a new pet, or keep the cage on a high shelf or in a closed room other animals cannot get into. It is most likely the best idea to keep your rats and other animals separated. Cats may be a particular problem. They prey on rodents, including rats, and so you could end up inadvertently teasing the cats and terrifying or endangering the rats. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 3. Spend some time with rats. Before deciding to purchase rats, visit somebody who already has one. There are features of this animal that some people find unpleasant, so it's a good idea to make sure you will actually enjoy caring for them before obtaining any. There are many variations of rats, including tailless, furless, and miniature. But be aware that some of these varieties are prone to different issues and health problems. Pet rats that are kept in clean conditions do not have a strong smell, but they do have a slight odor that not everyone likes. Before getting your own pet rat, make sure you are comfortable with the smell or find a good bedding to absorb it. Remember, harmful chemicals in pine shavings are bad for rats. The resins can irritate their lungs. Similarly, some people find the scurrying action of a rat disconcerting. Little claws can tickle. Ratty tails can also be a little strange at first. Try handling a rat to make sure you are comfortable with the animal's mannerisms and anatomy. Be sure to have a good cage that is big enough, airy, and safe. Wire cages are preferable to aquariums, as they allow for better airflow. Do not get aquariums or your rats will get respiratory infections and most likely die. Make sure the floor is not wire or your rat could possibly get bumblefoot. If you use wire, pick a cage with bar spacing between 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 4. Consider the risk of cancer. Unfortunately, cancer is a common problem in pet rats, and it can sadly shorten their life. Although not every rat develops tumors, it is something to be aware of as a prospective rat keeper. Other issues may crop up, including mites and respiratory infection. Ask yourself if you can afford the cost of surgery if your rat develops a lump that needs removal. If the answer is no, then are you prepared to euthanize a beloved pet at a relatively young age in order to prevent suffering? If this is not something you can handle, rats may not be the right pet for you. The most important thing is responsibility. To continue, say next.
Next.
Step 5. Choose the right number of rats. Rats are social creatures who enjoy each other's company and live in colonies in the wild. It is highly recommended that you purchase more than one, and it is best if you purchase them at the same time. A rat needs almost constant interaction to prevent boredom, so it's best to get 2 or more rats. No matter how much time you spend with them, they will still be lonely, so get another one if you possibly can. Your rats will thank you. The better alternative is to adopt more than one rat, so they can keep each other company. If you decide on more than one rat, it is advisable to get your rats from the same place at the same time to reduce problems with quarantining or introducing them. Rat introductions can be difficult, especially with territorial, intact male rats. Keep in mind that 2 rats is not at all more work than 1. In fact, you'll find that it's easier to care for 2 or 3 rats because they'll all be happier with one another to play with. Differences in the amounts of food and bedding you'll need to use are marginal and hardly noticeable. The only real challenge in getting more than 1 rat is trying to fit them all on your shoulders when you walk around with them. Likewise, if you opt for multiple rats, get animals of the same sex, or you may find you have established a breeding colony. Breeding rats is not advisable unless you're a breeder and know exactly what you're doing. There are so many rats without homes that it's much better not to breed. Adoption is preferable to breeding. Some veterinarians will neuter rats, so if you unexpectedly find you have a male and female, you can talk to your vet about the possibility of having the male neutered. Keep in mind, however, that rats are not usually desexed because anesthesia is especially risky for them. To continue, say next.
Next.
Final step. Acquire your rats. Whenever possible, adoption is best, since there are so many rats out there needing homes. Rats are best acquired from a breeder or rescuer. They have a more intimate knowledge of the rats in their care and can help you find the right animal or animals for you. It is best to buy them from a trusted breeder or rescuer, as pet store rats can sometimes have more health issues, making it more expensive in the long run. Always thoroughly research any rescuers/breeders before choosing your pet, to make sure they keep their animals in humane and healthy conditions. Pet store rats are usually from mills and little consideration is taken for their health. If you do decide to buy from a pet store, avoid rats with the following problems: red discharge around the eyes and nose, noisy breathing, open wounds, lethargy, cloudy eyes, dull coat, or runny feces. Male and female rats may be mixed in pet store rat cages, one of the many reasons you shouldn't be adopting from a chain pet shop. Even if you only buy 1 or 2 rats initially, a few weeks down the road you may find you have more rats than you bargained for if one of them is a female, so be sure that it is the preferable gender that you want. It's okay to decide not to own a rat. Okay, you've reached the end of the article. To hear it again from the beginning, ask how to care for a pet rat. Or, you can ask how to do something else. What would you like to do?
Exit.